Hi everyone, it's Katie Harlan. Today's training is about creating leaders in your organization. This is really important if you are looking to grow a long-term residual income with Zaya Active. If you are in this to make money, you need good, strong, long-lasting leaders within your business. And I do believe that being able to see those leaders emerging is really important in building them. You are always going to have people that just do it on their own and just figure it out on their own, but you are also going to have people that need a little bit of guidance and need shown the way. And so these tips are to catch those people that might not realize the potential of what they are doing and what is in front of them on their own, okay? So, again, I just can't stress enough the importance of looking at your business in a way that is always searching for how you can develop leaders, helping them rank, helping them be independent as quickly as possible so that they're growing their own teams. You want to create more leaders, not followers. So of course the first few weeks or months in the company, you're going to be helping them with their launch party and answering questions and just really holding their hand as they get their feet wet and get comfortable in this business. But the ultimate goal is to sort of launch them, right? You want them to eventually be able to get going on their own and bring more people into their organization in which they are training their people and then their people train their people. The goal isn't for them to need you forever and ever and ever. You want to always be available for them. But I think that if, 3 to 6 months into the business, if you're still holding their hand, you need to really work on launching them. And this, you guys, really is what's this makes your life just so great because then you're working with people. You're not having to pull people with you. I really believe strongly that to work with the willing. If there is somebody on the team who I keep reaching out to and they're just not responsive or they're not following through on what they're saying, that's okay, but I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse, right? I'm not going to keep knocking down their door to make them be successful at this. So I encourage you to have the same mindset because it's freeing, honestly. If you think that you're going to make every single rep that joins your team really successful, you might be disappointed. Work with the willing and help them out, and with the goal to launch them. I think that will, again, simplify your life and make this whole thing more enjoyable. Okay, so I have a few tips for how to develop leaders with the understanding that we're not going to force anybody to be a leader. Okay, so like I just said, we're only going to work with the willing. So let's assume that these tips apply to the willing. Okay, not just anyone who joins your team. The very most important thing that I do in searching out leaders and helping them build their, rank advance and build their teams is I look at numbers daily. And really, I look at numbers like 10 times a day, if I'm being totally honest. And later in the month, it's even more. So in order to, understand what your rep's potential is in regard to rank advancing, achieving promos, and that kind of thing, you need to know their numbers. This does get complicated as you build a large organization. So at the time of this video, I have over 200 people in my organization. So to know everybody's numbers in and out, it would be very difficult. But I do try to know at least my top 2 levels numbers pretty well. And I also know if there's a rock star deeper in the downline, I certainly recognize that and see that, and I'll reach out to her and just congratulate her. So when I say I look at the numbers daily, what am I looking for? Well, I'm looking for a few things. First of all, I'm looking for big sales numbers because those big sales numbers are sort of an alert that I need to look closer at that person's business, especially if they're new or if they haven't rank advanced to the first to junior rep yet. Because if I see that that number is significant, then I want to reach out to that person and say, hey, you're doing great with your numbers. You're really, you could advance to junior rep. All you need is $600 in your first level so that you can get there by signing 2 reps. You can get there by signing a rep and helping her with her launch party. You could get there by, I go over the different ways that they could get there. And sometimes they might not have even realized that that was a possibility for them, okay? So I look for those higher numbers. And when I say higher, I guess I mean, it depends when it is in the month. If it's the first day of the month and I see that somebody's put up $500, I'm like, I need to watch this person. If it's, midway through the month and they're at $1,500, I mean, that's really good too. And I might reach out and say, you're only $1,000 away from the promo. So I'm just sort of watching for significant numbers there. Also, when I look at numbers, I mentioned that I look at the second level too. So you want to look to build senior reps and then directors. Your ultimate goal is to have a team of directors. But senior rep, if you can get your reps to senior rep, that is really where they have the buy-in of the business. That's right before director. The longevity of them staying in the business increases I would say 60% when you can get them to senior rep. It's a more stable business place. They're making decent income at this point. If they have gotten to senior rep, they're likely to be in this. So, I am always looking at their numbers, and I keep looking down at this sheet, you guys. This is my second tip that I'll get to, but your sheet should be worn out just like mine. You want to know these numbers. So I'm looking for anything that could help my reps get to senior rep. And sometimes that takes looking one level below them, because if you have a rep who, is, I don't know, doing okay, but below them you have a rep who's doing really amazing, that rep is going to help your rep rank advance. And so I would reach out to both of them and just sort of let them know what's going on, hey, did you know that all you need is this to rank advance because your team volume is this much? So the first and second levels are very important, but I think you want to make sure that you're spending time every day, and if not every day, every other day, looking at your numbers. That needs to be a significant part of your office hours when you work this business, is looking through your numbers and seeing what you can see in relation to this. How close are they to that junior rep, senior rep, and director? Now, of course, after director, you can help them get to senior director, executive, etc. But by the point that they're director, they're likely to already understand the pay plan and the qualifications, so you won't need to monitor quite so much. Your job is to monitor very closely to help them get to junior rep, senior rep, and director. Again, once they hit director, they're probably on it and able to sort of figure that out. I definitely stay in contact with my reps, all of my directors. We have a very close relationship where we're communicating several times a week about their goals and where they're at. And, I think that's really important, but it's less about telling them that they're close to the next rank and more about helping them strategize. Okay, number 2, I won't go over this a lot because I just talked about it here, but get really familiar with this. Get familiar with what the different ranks are, because you're going to have a lot of questions every week as your team builds about how to rank advance. So either memorize this or carry it with you everywhere. Also get familiar with our pay plan. Mine doesn't look as pretty, but I have this too, and I reference this a lot. Another thing that's really helpful as you're building your team is to be able to give your reps number goals goals is the wrong word, number targets for each rank advancement as far as how much money you can earn. So I have a sticky note on my desk. I went back and looked at my checks when I was director, and I wrote down the amount for that. And then I did that for senior director, and I wrote down the amounts for that. So then as people are, shooting for those ranks, I can say, when I was a director, this is what I was making. And that's really motivating because it's a pretty significant number. So I recommend doing that too, and using that to guide your reps to get to the next level. It would look like this. Hey, you are really close to director. When I was a director, this is what I made. So it's a pretty significant income jump from senior rep. Here are your numbers. This is where you need to be, and what questions can I answer, and how can I help you get there? So that would be a really good message to send to somebody who is close. Okay, number 3. I talked about this already, but just watch their numbers and notice trends. So I've gotten to the point where I can tell when someone is getting close, and I mean, that sounds really dumb and maybe obvious, but I guess I mean, when I see someone's group volume is around 3,000 to 4,000, I'm like, that's not that far away from director. So that person goes on my watch list, and I'm starting to chat with them about director and what they need to do to get there. Another thing I do is, and this is tip number 4, is I put the girls that are working toward director, or that I see are close, that $3,000 or $4,000 group volume, I put them in a message thread, and I say, hey, everybody in this thread is close to director, so let's work together and see how we can get there. And that doesn't mean that everyone in the message thread is going to get there that month, but it just creates some awareness, some accountability, a safe place to ask questions, and to, I really love when people partner up in this business, because it makes it more fun, and it makes it, it's more fun to achieve goals together. So I think anytime we can work together, it's just better. Number 5, another thing that I do frequently are one-on-one calls with my reps. I'll do a one-on-one call with anyone in my downline, but I especially focus on one-on-one calls with those girls that are trying to rank advance or that are close to rank advancing, just to make sure that they know how far away they are and what they need to do, how far away or how close they are rather, and what they need to do. I want them to understand their numbers really closely. Another thing that's helpful here is doing, I do this often where I'll screenshot their numbers, and I'll draw on the picture, and I'll send this via Facebook Messenger, and I'll say something like, this number just needs to be at this number for you to rank advance to director, for example, just to give them these status updates frequently and stay in their line of sight, so that it's easy to forget when you're not in front of Zaya. So my job is to just remind them of what their goal was and how close they are. Okay, and then the last tip is just any time you can set up accountability partners, sort of like I said with the message thread, I just think that really, really helps. So my advice to you, if you are looking to grow leaders and grow your team, look at your team and see who is close to a certain rank. Maybe it's new reps and you want to help them advance to junior rep. Maybe start a message thread with them and talk about, hey ladies, your first rank advancement goal is junior rep. This is what you need for that. And so I put you in this message thread so that I could help you guys together, and you work through it that way. Do the same with senior rep and so on. I think that's just, again, really important for building community and helping people find those relationships that can really help them be successful in this business. Okay, I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know, and have a great day.